You were the number one person we always wanted on our podcast because I love you so much. You are a Moses-like character, in my opinion. You let us out of bondage, out of the mind bondage of media. You broke every single rule. Everybody who began to see that there was a conspiracy against the minds of the thinkers of America was awakened by you. And first of all, I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being on my podcast, too. I have so many things.
I've been trying to get on for a while. We just always, the planets never align, but here we are.
No, but here we are.
Thanks for coming on my show so many times.
Yeah, well, the planets have definitely aligned, and I'm very grateful.
I'm very here.
Well, that's so cool. I'm trying to think of where I want to go first.
Well, there's so much. You made a great point on my show today that we could elaborate on about, because things take so much time.
Yeah.
And people are living in instant gratification. That's how they manipulate and control us, because people don't see things in the continuum.
Yeah. They've managed to separate cause and effect, using the media so people don't see the effect of the cause. They've separated those two things so far apart with the fairy tale they spin all the time and the narrative they put out on the media to keep us lulled into compliance, right? And then here you came, and I want to ask you, what made you do it? What made you go, I'm going to get on there and sell some truth to the American people?
I mean, I was a jock, a Chad, but I also grew up where my mom's got a degree in history, and my dad was really smart, read a lot of books. And so I just grew up, like cartoons back then, as you know, were only on Saturday and a little bit. And by the time I got home from football practice and stuff, I never got to watch cartoons in the afternoons. I never really was into cartoons and stuff. But I started, like comic books and stuff. By the time I was a really good reader, I was about 9 or so, I started reading some of the history books that were around the house. And I showed an interest, so my dad got me encyclopedias about the Wild Wild West, about World War II, about a lot of stuff, illustrated encyclopedias.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read all those and just got into history. And so I think my love of history is what gave me a knowledge of what was happening at the time, because they've said those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. Me too. I got those encyclopedias myself, and I couldn't get my nose out of them. I loved history.
It's amazing.
And how it always does repeat, right? Doesn't
Absolutely.
it? And doesn't it always repeat because people's minds are captured?
Absolutely. And there's been corrupt systems of mind control that you've been exposing for so long through different cultures that basically create the same formula with these cults and priesthoods to keep people in the dark. And we go through the same process over and over again.
Yeah, but do you think it's different now in any way? I mean, do you see the effect of your cause?
Well, I mean, I have been the most successful in the last 31 years I've been on air of all these other great people at reaching the most people and having the biggest effect. But I really just kind of rode in on the beginning of the big wave that has now brought us the global awakening we're seeing, and now there's even a bigger wave forming. So, I mean, I stood on the shoulders of so many other great people who I got to interview, and most of them are gone now, over the years. I was interviewing Kathy O'Brien 30 years ago. She was on with you and I today. And boy, you look at what she said 30 years ago, it's all been proven accurate.
Isn't that amazing?
So, I mean, I was just young and wanted to be able to get on every platform I could because I wanted to tell people about this stuff. And so that's why I had success. And then that system persecuted me and came after me. So we had the Streisand effect. So, God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to talk to you about God because you are very educated in that subject. In fact, I always go, he's a mystic. Alex Jones is a mystic.
Well, I have had a lot of what you call mystic experiences in my life.
But the way you put thoughts together, I mean, it's very powerful. And it's narrative destroying stuff. So I wanted to ask you about your faith because I feel like you're always talking about your faith and it's deeply felt. I can tell it's deeply felt by you. And I wanted to ask you how core is that to everything you do? Have you seen what's in our water lately? Fluoride? No thanks. The future of oral care is not fluoride, it's peptides. It's time to ditch the poison and upgrade your oral smile and upgrade your oral care with Smile, the first ever doctor-formulated peptide toothpaste from the Wellness Company. This stuff regenerates gum tissue. That is so exciting. Strengthens enamel and naturally whitens your teeth without fluoride, peroxide, or junky chemicals but it is packed with peptides, blue spirulina and aloe vera, and actually works with your body to heal from the inside out. That's a new one.
I love this company. They're like the best thing that ever happened to America, for real.
Oh, they're like doctors.
They're real doctors, and here's the thing. They do things that help your body.
Yeah,
Crazy.
They're not trying to jack up their insurance prices.
Or kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get a bonus for that,
I think so.
days.
I love it. It's Dr. Drew.
Ready to take back control of your mouth?
Nah.
Well, I should think about that. But get 10% off plus free shipping. Head to twc.health/RB. Use the code RB. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Well, we went to church and stuff when I was a child, but I really wasn't that attracted to it because it just seemed kind of like a pep rally. But the archetypes of good versus evil, and then experiencing the Holy Spirit and being given discernment, basically told the future, or certainly given inclinations of it. And then in many events where I was just literally, not very often, but sometimes actually like hear a voice saying, this is about to happen, usually warnings, and then it happening quite a few times, and also having dreams that came true. Sometimes
That's called foresight, right?
Absolutely. So I certainly, young, realized that there was something to the spiritual realm. In fact, it's everything. Third dimension is just a reflection of that.
Yeah.
And so this dimension is just a reflection of we call it higher dimensions, but the more complex dimensions.
Yeah, up in the penthouse of thought where all wars are won and lost, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've just had a lot of interesting experiences, and I also, there's a spiritual battle. So when I was young, I didn't quite understand it all, still don't, but I was spiritually attacked quite a bit. And I learned that actually made me not be as naive and made me grow up quicker. So I've had some adventures.
What was the first spiritual attack you felt as a child? Because I had one too. I wonder what yours was like.
You know,
You could talk in allegory.
Or what is a spiritual attack, maybe?
I mean, the type Tucker Carlson talked about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had some of that happen when I was young. And you should call it like poltergeist type stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was never like, hearing voices on a regular basis. I think people were after me. I was totally whatever, but only every once in a while they're like, well, look out or watch out. And then,
Yeah.
And then I also had some experiences.
That could be guardian angels, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I had experiences where, you're not thinking anything's going on, nothing's happening. It's afternoon on a Saturday. My dad's waiting in the car to go to a movie, and just get picked up and thrown all the way up against the wall, and my shoulder just located.
Oh, wow.
It was like, whoa. So definitely in the whole spiritual, energetic vortex, there was some interesting stuff going on. And I had some other experiences like that, but of more of spiritual assault, something trying to force its way in, of like sexual nature.
Yeah.
That's one of the forms of demonic invasion.
Yeah.
And then I had, since we're smoking, I'm having one too. Don't do this at home, kids. Since I'm in shape, work out a lot, but I still smoke a few cigarettes. Love tobacco. Tucker Carlson's out, by the way. It's great and healthy and good for you that way. But it's not nicotine that's bad. It's the delivery systems. But, I had some interesting experiences when I was pretty young. I mean, I wouldn't call it, from my perspective, it wasn't pedophilic because I was 12 and I looked like I was about 15 or 16. But I would have like older girls in the town and the neighborhood and stuff, that I started getting with when I was 12 and had what you'd call a lot of success at that. And then by the time I was about 13 or so, repeatedly, different ones, 10, 20 miles apart, would say, hey, we're in a satanic cult. We want you to be in it.
Oh, wow.
And I had some pretty amazing things there, and never was part of it. But repeatedly, I would be like, thinking, oh, the 16-year-old girl when I'm 14, is taking me out to the lake or whatever, and then like pull into this place and there's torches and stuff.
Oh my God.
And black hoods, and then I'm like, boom, literally walk out of there, and you have to walk home out in the country and go knock on a farmhouse door and call my dad. Didn't have cell phones back then. So I had some adventures like that are like eyes wide shut.
Isn't it weird in the country how rife that is and nobody knows it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people get recruited into it because they think it's fun and adventurous. And Dallas was, richest area where I grew up, Rockwall, time in Texas, and it was pretty serious. We actually moved when I was 16 down to Austin. My dad owned a couple dental offices and sold them just to get away from it. Big Christian community, like the Christians were totally asleep, and then you had people right next to it that were, rich and powerful. That's really where I saw it going on.
It seems to center itself where people are rich and powerful, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I can see now the devil's not omnipresent, but he's been around a long time and does have his agents all over and has that intelligence, and could figure out God had some big plan for me. So I definitely got targeted.
But you knew God had a plan for you?
No, I got tempted by evil and the pride of it. I mean, not by the occultism and stuff, but just what I was becoming. And I would say that I never, fell to evil completely, but for a couple of years, 14, 15, I was, becoming influenced by evil.
Flirting.
Visions, the ideas, all of it.
Dark.
Mindset. I really just pride, more of a Luciferian temptation, power. And then, God interceded in it. And by the time I was 18, I had, not in a church or anything, but a big Holy Ghost experience. Then God gave me a mission. And then after I've been on air about 3-4 years, I had another, call it a vision, but it wasn't visual, but it was like all this knowledge, this download, what I was going to do, what was going to happen. And so since then, I've been just getting stronger.
Oh, you see, my patience is growing thin.